I can remember when I was really, really young and my parents gave me a record of a Batman comic. And it had pictures in it, just a few to kind of get you going, but mostly you sat and listened to the record of different actors who would portray the different characters. And I remember listening to that over and over and over again, and I saw the car, and I saw the hero, and I saw the villain in my head, and I saw these venues that they were in. And that's what I love about voice acting, is that it's all up here. You get to create your own set in your mind as a listener. You get to create what you think the character looks like.
The difference between, say, like audiobooks and regular audio plays is that audiobooks is usually one author and they're the narrator and they play all of the characters. But with an audio play, everyone is cast and they're all completely different people, and it's a real story where there are different people playing different parts.
I think an audio play is something that will actually feed the imagination through voice.
It's basically, if you go back in time and look at some of the radio plays or radio soap operas or comedies that you would hear, where obviously you're just getting the voice, you're not getting any visual from it.
I would describe it as a journey into the imagination. And if you've ever heard of or heard famous audio or radio plays from earlier generations like War of the Worlds, that was fantastic. If you ever get a chance to hear that, you'll be, taken to that situation in your imagination, and that's really what audio plays, I think, do best.
It's an opportunity to not have to read, but to be able to hear a story in character form.
You think about generations now, you go back 3-4 generations, that's all you had was radio. That and storytelling, so the better storyteller you were and the better you conveyed a story through voice, that's how you set the imagery up and how you pictured, the story in your mind. And there's a lot of times where, like reading the book, you read a book and you get your own imagery of how a story lays out and how characters even appear. And it's the same way with radio or when you're listening to a story, you're creating that imagery. To where when you go see a movie, you're sort of missing that element. You're getting someone else's interpretation of that story.
Voice actors have come together and they're telling a story all through sound, all through their voices. And there may be a special effect here and there of a door closing or a dog barking, but for the most part, you're just listening. It's a lot like when you were a kid and you sat next to your grandmother and she told you about the 20s or whenever. But it's actually acted out for you.
If anybody is familiar with the Tom Joyner morning show, Tom Joyner used to do, and I haven't heard it in a long time, they used to do like a 3 to 5 minute audio play called It's Your World. And they had some really wonderful characters on that audio play. It was only like 3 minutes, and they would do it every day, and it was like an ongoing series. The character by the name of Sterling, and Redbone was the villain, and he had this really deep melodic voice, and he would kill you at the drop of a hat, so you didn't mess with him. And you felt that as you listened to the audio play.
I think imagination is an underutilized tool in our physical makeup.
Back when I was a kid, if you had a television, you were pretty well off if it was color TV. But even then, you still had radio and you still had the spoken word, and that's how you told stories. And those are the things I remember most from my childhood was, family members telling me these great stories, some of them grandiose, but those are the things that stuck in my mind, and I think, sort of formed me and the person I am today.